getting back to now that we've had a science lesson on alternating current and direct current, right? Like we have the opportunity to like look at this thing in real time, right? So like whenever we look at this, right, we understand that like the nodes that are down here are what the electricity passes through, right? And this particular collar actually has this cool little bungee on it too. That
I really
holds,
do like that collar.
Yeah, it holds the right amount of pressure on the dog's neck, right? So that like, you know, we're just barely stretched on that, which means the nodes are constantly making good contact, which means that I have consistency, right? I close the circuit, right? And thank you. I close the circuit and I have like really great consistency that way, right? The next thing that happens is that we have this, this top black S button on the ET300. Again, this is the mini educator by eCollar Technologies. It's the ET300, right? And like this top button is just your regular stim button, right? Like that's when you push that, you're going to get 6 every time. Whenever I put that in my hand and I press 6, like, hey, listen.
And so if you tap it, like, it gives a tap. And if you press and hold, it'll hold for a certain amount of time. Correct.
Now they have 2 different modes on this. You can have momentary or continuous. Like I subscribe to the continuous theory of eCollar training where like it's pressure on, pressure off, the same way that I do everything else. Instead of that momentary stim that's like, hey, you can hold that button down and it's only going to nick them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I like that. If you put that in your hand, dude, this is the working level of my dog, right? Like, boom, it's on right now. You can tell by the button, right?
Around, I don't feel
and
it.
You can't feel it, right? That's what my dog comes off the bite at, right? So like, I've got a sport dog. You know, he's a really hard dog. And like, I just didn't get stuck chasing the dragon. Right. And so like, whenever I do this, right, like, you know, boom, like it's on, it's running. You can see the light on the receiver itself actually even comes on whenever that happens. Right. So, you know, it's receiving the signal and like, you can't feel that. Right.
Not at all.
Now here's where you're probably going to feel it a little bit. Right. I have this red button here on the side actually is what we call a boost button. And like, I have that set to 10 over. Right. So it's going to jump to 16. You'll probably feel that a little bit.
I'm just joking.
I bet you did. Dude, if that was real, I was going to be like, wow, dude, I need a new friend.
So no, you can feel that.
Yep, you can feel it, right? But it's not painful.
It's kind of, we talk about the TENS machine.
Yeah. That's what it feels
like a TENS machine.
It's exactly what it feels like. Now, is this more or less stimulation than this?
Oh, so that's vibration.
Yeah.
Okay. So that the whole thing feels like it's vibrating. You can feel it vibrating.
What do you think? More or less stimulation? More stimulation?
I think that's
less stimulation.
I think the red is more.
You think so?
I do. I think this one is more because I can feel it kind of going through my
through
myself, right?
But like feel the amount of vibration
but
here.
The vibration is very like you can't.
It's big, right?
Right. You can't miss it.
You can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it.
And so like what I typically say is like if we set this up properly for our clients, right? We ask, we insist, and over here we punish. So like I ask with regular stim, I insist with boost stim, and then I punish with vibration stim.
Interesting, because I think most people do it the opposite.
I think they do, yeah. Yep. And take it for what it is. That vibration stim research would suggest is actually a higher level of stim for most dogs that are trained on low stim e-collar method than anything else, right? Because it's this big tactile, like explosion on their neck in a lot of ways. And if you're only using it to punish, right? Like then the dog goes, holy cow, what is that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're completely unfamiliar to it. So like whenever I put a dog in a downstay and I walk 100 feet away and he goes to pop up, right? I'm like, and I give him that vibration that came down from the heavens and gave him a brand new stimulation, right? And he goes, what was that?
Hey, that?
Oftentimes pivots back to that, touchstone of security that we created in our teaching, training, testing method of installing obedience, right? So like teaching primary, right? Where it's like, hey, I want to teach before I train. I want to train before I test, right? When we get to e-collar stuff, we're going back and reassociating a lot of these things across that, again, 16 points, right?
Right. And I think that's an important point to make that I missed earlier, is when you go from like just because you have trained something, if you make a change, you almost have to take a few steps back.
Absolutely.
Right. Whether it's a different tool or a different location. Right. Yeah. So for example, when a dog comes in my house, we start in the house, we start in the backyard, then we go to the front yard.
Sure.
We don't leave the front yard until that dog is ready to leave the front yard.
Until he's solid.
Right. Because as soon as you step onto the street, it's like starting over.
All bets are off.
Right. And then you go, around the neighborhood and they see all these new experiences and it's like starting over. This is kind of the same way.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm getting at is if you do decide to use an e-collar and you're like, well, my dog's trained, he knows what's up, he's going to take this. Understand that you need to almost take a few steps back, not start over. Nope. But be patient and take a couple steps back and allow them to kind of relearn these things.
Even whenever I touch this, the first time we touch it, to your point, we touch it still on leash.
Yes. So they're doing it in a similar fashion.
Right.
What I guess what I'm saying is I'd like to kind of make a distinction here between professional trainers.
Yeah.
Right. And then like every day we're going out with this dog to train this dog versus if you go get an e-collar on your own.
If you go get an e-collar on your own, you throw it on your dog and you think you can jump in the ring with Ali because you think you can box, you're probably not going to get the result that you're looking for. You're probably going to create a lot of fear in your dog and make whatever things that you think you are here to solve worse.
I agree.
Yeah, please don't do that because you're, again, messing with the electricity. Sorry, I'm just like that.
Oh, she got hot about electricity.
It's a thing for me. Again, 20 years as an electronics technician, I had to learn.
That's my girl, guys.
Learn about electricity. I was even just over here verifying information. TENS machines actually work off of AC. Some of these collars work off of AC.
Sure, interesting.
But it depends on the way that they're designed to do it and what they're designed to do. And there are many, 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 many versions of all of these things that work off of different kinds of electricity that have different, different effects. Like TENS machines are somehow designed to block certain pain receptors and improve endorphins and things like that.
Yeah.
All kinds of
I've been to the chiropractor. I love that place.
Specialized medical things that, that whenever we're prescribed these things or whenever they're given to us in physical therapy, because I mean, let's face it, the three of us were active duty at one time.
I've done all the physical therapy. I've done so much that I just don't want to go back. I'm supposed to go now. I don't want to.
Bro. Yeah, I'm smoking.
I don't know how common that is in the civilian sector, but like,
we're hard on our bodies, man.
Therapy things. We're hard on our bodies. Yeah, a lot of things, even like with the dogs, though. But I love that you're going to put that off in a minute, and I love that you guys just put it on your hand.
Fucking too much whiskey, this guy, dude. What the fuck?
So
Thank you for the disclaimer, Heather. Right? Yeah.
I'm not laughing at you.
Is weird and effed up sometimes.
Apparently Chris pivoted back to third grade for 3 seconds. It was too good.
It happens. Yeah. There is a reason we made this an entire episode.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yes. Like what Heather is getting at is important. Like this is important. And what I think, I don't necessarily think anyone's going to go out there and kill their dog. Right.
No, but I think that they'll land them in the freaking shelter.
Yes, but you can cause a whole lot of issues simply by not understanding what you're doing with a tool. 100%. And this is one of the ones that you can do, not physical, my dog is hurt damage, but mental damage.
Big time.
And if you have a dog for a reason. You want a companion, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about this at the very beginning. We're not owning dogs anymore. Right. We have dogs that are our companions and are there for us and that we are there for them.
Golden Compass style.
Do you really want that dog to be afraid of you?
No,
you don't.
My chances go up of getting bit if my dog's afraid of me.
By about 1,000%. Yes.
Right. This is where, like, for me, like dominance theory really started to just peter out in my career. Right. Because it's like, oh, you got to dominate your dog. Well, what does that mean? That means I'm an asshole to my dog.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean? That means I drive a ton of conflict in with my dog where they listen to me or else. And that makes me more of a man. And it's like, does it, or does it just mean that you're an asshole?
So, and I have been in a situation where I have trained dogs that like, you're going to listen to me or die, right? Because that was the reality.
Right. Because like, you're either going to listen to me or you're going to get blown up.
Yeah. We're both going to die.
Yeah.
Right? And so I have trained that way. I've trained in that manner for a long time, for a lot of time.
But like even some of the dogs, but man, I don't mean to bust on this, but just let me interject here for a second. Even some of the dogs that are coming out of Langley now are coming out with so much fear because the genetics aren't there to support it anymore.
So I can't believe I'm going to say this on air, but we've had a lot of whiskey. One of my lifetime goals is to transform the way that our military working dogs and our working dogs in general are treated.
Let's go get after it.
The psychology behind what these dogs are going through is not okay.
So
period.
I won't say where, right? I will not say where, because like, I don't want to put these people on Front Street, right? But I got a call from a couple Coast Guard handlers that have some fresh dogs out of Langley the other day, and both these dogs have a ton of fear, right? And my thought process immediately was, there was a time in the history of our military where if we had any fear in a litter, the whole litter was culled, right? So like they would kill all the puppies. They would kill them all. Right. Because like we saw early indications of fear. Right. And that built a very Spartan like genome around the dogs that we put in military working dogs.
You're talking about selective breeding. Yes.
I'm talking about massive amounts of selective breeding. Right. And it built this kind of a Spartan genome there. Right. Like the Spartans are very, famous warrior culture in the globe that, even sent their young sons out at 7 years old into the wilderness. And the ones that came back were like, hey man, you survived and you made it.
You're going to be a fighter, or you're going to die.
You're going to be a hard dude. You know what I mean? But like the reality is that, as animal welfare has become more to the forefront, Langley doesn't have the genetics to support their training methods anymore, is my assertion, right? Because like these dogs have fear coming out of Langley's program, right? Like one of the handlers is 5 months on the job. The other handler's like a year and a half on the job kind of thing. Right. And it's like both these dogs have fear issues where they're being reactive and being pulled off searches and all kinds of other stuff because like the dog's resiliency isn't there for the training methods.
So if you're talking about out of Langley, you're talking about Coastie, right? You're talking about some of these other 3-letter agencies. Yeah. I have no experience with that. I do have experience with the Department of Defense side, and that's all done out of Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And what I will tell you,
that's what I meant.
Is did you misspeak?
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, 341st Training Squadron.
That's the same place I was talking about for the whole time. I'm so sorry.
I feel like that's not very far.
It's 9.5 hours from here. Go ahead.
Unless I am just remembering incorrectly, which is possible, right?
Every time we touch a memory, it changes.
I don't think that any of the Air Force, Marines, Coasties, DEA, any of them, they're not properly trained on the psychology of dogs. They're not properly trained to see fear and to understand fear. I didn't understand fear in dogs until I had been doing this job professionally on my own with canine coaching with Chris for a number of years. Yeah. Right after COVID was we've talked about COVID. COVID was a big deal for dogs, and that's kind of when I realized, like, oh my God, these dogs are terrified. So they're not misbehaving. They're terrified.
So let's talk about like how that gets there, even like in a large program that should be very well funded, like the DoD's program, right? Because like the reality of the situation is everybody thinks, oh, we pivot all the time, right? And it's like not with Marine Corps order, not with Air Force orders. Like,
I can answer this very simply.
Not with Navy instruction. You know what I mean?
I can answer this very simply. Yeah. Right. You're right. That program is funded heavily, right? What did we say earlier? Heather mentioned somebody she follows, the Mandatory Fun guy, right?
Yeah, Mandatory Fun Day. Love that guy on TikTok. Go look him up.
In the military.
Yeah.
You say it because you know it. Say it, please.
Let's go, Heather.
You can complete any task with any emotion. If you're anxious, you just do it. Just do it anxious.
Yeah.
So we have these handlers that are very well meaning, very well trained.
I agree.
They have every pure intention. Right?
I don't mean to demonize them in any way.
But these are war fighters.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter if you're scared. It doesn't matter if you're afraid.
Do it anyway.
It doesn't matter if you're anxious.
Yeah.
You fucking do it.
Yeah.
And that to me is the crux of the problem.
Because your presentation isn't going to fool the dog. Like if I look like I got my stuff together, but my hormones are radiating off of me, the dog knows.
They're smelling it.
And the dog's
feeling
going,
it.
why are you scared to go do the thing you want me to do?
So I got a good example of that, right? Of a dog smelling fear. Kitty.
Oh, right? Smoking.
We almost got sent home from Afghanistan because she had such bad PTSD. Right? We went through some real shit, and she had been through some real shit before, and she didn't shut down. She was close. And we had to make some tough decisions, and we ended up staying, and everything worked out, obviously. So when we came home, I tried to get her retired, and I went to the vet, went to my leadership, and they're like, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up an entire exercise just for her. Right. And when they did, we set up an entire exercise. There was these explosions, there was gunfights, there was all these things in this giant exercise. She was perfect. And they were like, this dog doesn't have PTSD.
Dog savvy.
She knew that there was no real risk of danger. She could feel from me that she was safe. Okay.
Not just that, but like, do you think that a dog can't tell the difference between a real round going down a real barrel as opposed to like the BFA situation where like even I can hear the difference, right? Like this, one of these things is not like the other. You know what I mean?
Well, like, and it's an emotional thing. Dogs are emotional creatures, right? They're energetic creatures. They feel our energy. They also smell our emotions.
I think they also get savvy to that, like the real stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes like you'll take a aggressive dog, you'll throw him in muzzle after doing proper muzzle acclimation. You'll walk him into the backyard. He's on muzzle, right? He sees another dog. He goes, oh, dog, right? And like you let him go over there and he plays, right? Take that same dog out of muzzle, walk him in that same backyard, right? And because he doesn't have a muzzle on, he doesn't initiate play. He wrecks that dog. Yep. You know, I've seen it in my career more than
over and over.
Yeah, more than a couple times, right? And like dogs know when the safety's on and when the safety's off.
They know more than we give them credit for.
Give them credit for. You know what I mean? And so with that, right? Like even getting back to the e-collar conversation, right? Like dogs will sometimes blow that initial stim off, right? They'll go, oh, yeah, I heard you, Dad. But like the thing that I'm doing is like massively high value. Like for my male dog, right? He's like, bro, the chick that peed here,
she's got some good stuff.
Like not only that, but like, you know, dogs can taste smells. He's over there like, bruh, I'll blow you off for like a super low
risk versus reward.
I mean? Right. But like whenever I insist, right, he goes, oh,
okay, Dad means it.
I should probably, but in his early days, there were even times where he was like, nah, like, bro, whenever I share with you that like this chick was fine, son. You know what I mean?
Well, and what you're talking about too, I've heard a lot of people that get those invisible fences. And they're like, he'll just run straight through it.
He'll just blow through it. Why? Because it has safeties in place that he figured out, right?
Yep. Risk versus reward.
So it won't destroy him all the way back into the boundary. It'll destroy him for 5 seconds on the other side of the boundary, and then it turns off, right? And he goes, you know what? To chase the cat down the block, which is like my favorite thing for the week, I will absolutely blow through this. Right. I will take the hit. Right. And all of us as people, I think, right, have had that experience somewhere in our life where we're like, I've been yelled at before. This is
I can take this ass too. Yeah. This is worth it. Absolutely.
All people as much as
veteran community. It might be veteran community stuff, but like, hear me out. Like I have had my ass chewed before. I will have my ass chewed again. My wife has looked at me stupid before. She'll look at me stupid again. Today's worth it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, take it for what it is. Like there was one time in my late 20s, I showed up with like a legitimate, like, you know, gemstone and pearl necklace because like I realized she's laughing because I realized I was screwed, right? But like the day that I was working was worth it, right? So I showed up with a gift because I'm like, I'm not messing with this. You know what I mean? Like I know I was wrong. I stayed in my wrongness and I was wrong, right? And so like I showed up and like she still wears it. It's gorgeous, right? But like
it's gorgeous.
You know, like she still wears this piece of jewelry. But the reality is I was like, yeah, I've had my ass chewed before. And it didn't even matter that I showed up with a gift, right? Like she still just chewed me to death, right? And I'm like, no, perfect.
Was she wearing the necklace when she did it?
She sure was.
Good.
Right. And it's like, yeah, okay. So here we are. Like I picked my poison. I think dogs have the autonomy and the sentience to be able to pick their poison on a regular basis.
And that's a good point. We should give them that autonomy to a certain point, right?
Yeah.
Now, one of the, I want to kind of pivot briefly a little bit here. One of the issues I do have with this collar, right? And maybe it's only my personal experience because I don't use it that often.
Yeah.
We talked about getting them used to that sensation. right? Before we even use it, having the sensation of those two prongs on your neck. When they don't feel that, are they more susceptible to not listen?
So great question.
Because
right?
I have seen that where dogs will literally, they're two completely different dogs when that e-collar is on versus when that e-collar is not on.
So you're talking about a gear savvy idea, right?
Yes.
Here's what I'll tell you is even in the best dogs I've ever trained, for, application, right? There's a difference in a dog that knows, hey, like you're here with me and you can touch me wherever I am. And a dog who goes, even in the same behavior set, like you can't really touch me wherever I am. Right. So like, it's not as impactful. Right. And we call that gear association, and gear association is a thing that like we work diligently to like get away from. Right. So like we do that across the board. Right. And I think it's fair to say this, right? The same kind of weaning process that we use in fading the lure, right, is the same kind of weaning process that we need in e-collar work in order for the behaviors to be well proofed on or off e-collar. I had my 7.5-year-old Mal, almost 8-year-old Mal Phantom. I had him out at club a couple weeks ago just for fun, right? Like he's a retired dog. He's fun sport dog. He's a retired dog. He's never had a live bite on, like he's a sport dog. Right. And I'll be honest about that. Like, some of these dogs that have had live bites, I mean, they're a harder caliber dog than my sport dogs. Like I've got a friend, over in like Northeast Florida who would be very happy to hear me say that because like she was a canine handler for a long, long time. And she's like, bro, these are different animals. And I'm like, you're not wrong. Right. I've worked both. Like, the way that we engage an animal that, somebody's life's going to be on the line for is different than the way that I engage an animal that like nobody's life's on the line. This is for fun on the weekend. You know what I mean?
I think it's what we just talked about a few minutes ago with Kitty, right? Like
exactly.
The energy, and I can speak from experience, the energy of sending your dog on somebody who's wearing a sleeve and wearing the vest is a lot different than the energy that you're putting off when you're sending that dog to a real human.
Time to go.
Right.
We're in this together.
And so we used to say all the time, like dogs that get that blood bite, you see that change in them. Right. They have that taste of blood almost, which isn't a mean thing. Like you hear like taste of blood, you think, oh man, that's a dangerous dog.
Well, take it for what it is, man. Like
but something changes when they get that. There's a distinction.
Yeah. There's a distinction whenever I think that they really look at people as prey, as I think what you're really talking about.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Whenever the person becomes, a prey object, I think there's a difference there. And I don't know whether it's blood associated or not. I mean, like that's a
no. I do. That was a phrase, idea. A turn.
Yeah.
I do not believe it's because of the blood.
Right.
No, absolutely.
Right. So
can I ask you guys to think about it a certain kind of way, just based on everyone's experience?
All right, let's go.
All right. So there's a difference between training and real deployments.
No, for damn sure.
And like in for that same, I feel because like. We lay back on training here in the US, doing the things, going through the motions, learning the gear, all that kind of stuff, getting used to the gear that we're still going to use wherever it is that we're going. Right. And I had the fortunate experience to be not in the same kinds of situations that you guys were in, but having been in real situations, learning the real difference between being in a training environment where like, hey, I have to learn how to do this thing, and using the things that you learned and having the same equipment can be helpful.
Right. So that gear association, to your point, right? Like gives us the muscle memory to act on, right? Like, we look at this in personal protection dogs a lot, right? Like, hey, we bring a lot of heat to personal protection dogs. We teach personal protection dogs how to fight people. Right. And we do that all in the safety of gear for everybody's benefit and the reproducibility of the engagement. Right. And like there's a meme that runs around the internet where like, this dog, this Malinois, is like a sport trained dog. Right. And he's in the elevator with a lady who's in a giant tweed jacket, right? And it looks like the bite suit, and the guy's holding the dog's mouth shut, right? You know what I mean?
Poor lady.
Or even the time, like there's another meme that was running around, I don't know, a decade ago, right? Where like this guy's pushing a snowblower, right? And it's like snowing outside, right? And he's in like a snowsuit, right? And it's like that awkward moment that you realize you look like the decoy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it's a bad day, right? So like, you know, there's some honesty to that gear association, and there's some honesty that like when that rubber meets the road, it changes everybody. You know,
I agree. And to your point, Heather, and to follow up on that, even if you are training your dog for protection, and
like
for
real
all
protection,
of these things, right?
You got restraining orders against people and stuff.
Are training your dog to be a protective asset for you, no one's going to die.
Probably
have
not.
Fun, right? The Bayou Working Dog Club, right?
Yeah,
that shit is fun. Not just for the dogs, but for you.
Man,
and so, I guess what I'm getting at is don't take this too seriously.
Right.
Enjoy it, have fun with it. Even if you are training your dog for something important,
right?
The more fun you have with it, the better product, quote unquote,
I was going to say, the more likely the dog's to engage, right?
Yeah. Right. And I see a lot of people that like, well, he's not listening. It's like, well, he has something going on.
Well, my favorite thing,
that dog is like, give him some grace. They have autonomy.
Yeah. My favorite thing in protection sports, no matter what you're in, right? Like, you know, whether you're in police canine work, right? Like, or you're working across to, you know, PSA or Mondio ring or French ring or Schutzen work, like whatever that biting thing is that you're doing with your dog. Like I see a lot of people who get stuck on this idea that the dog's not intense enough, the dog's not serious enough. We don't know whether or not the dog's going to really do the thing, right? Like we don't see it, you know? And it's like, bro, hear me out. Like, I think that's less important. Right. Especially if we're teaching a game, right? We're teaching PSA. There's like there's another meme out there that's like every PSA decoy ever. Right. And like above his head, he goes, believes this is the real thing. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not the freaking real thing. You know what I mean? There's never going to be an assailant rip a chainsaw at a dog. Maybe there is, but like, you know, I we do some stuff in PSA because like I'm a PSA guy, I'm a PSA competitor, right? Like I like PSA as a general discipline. I'm the training director of a PSA club, right? Like there's some honesty there that's like, oh, we want to make sure that we build the most rock solid dog in the coolest way possible to do the most amazing things. You know what I mean? And sure. You know, but is it the same thing as like an actual deployment? In no way, shape, or form. You know it's not. I know it's not. 85 other people know it's not, right? But like some folks get really stuck around the axle on that. And in doing so, they do this thing with this piece of gear that I call chasing the dragon, right? So when you don't teach a dog well enough what the stimulation they're feeling means, right? The chances of you running stim up and up and up and up and getting a more intense piece of gear, like this is the entry level, right? That I train my dog on, right? You know, eCollar Technologies has this thing called the Boss. You know, the Boss has 2 of these receivers on it, right? On the same collar, right? The Chameleon has like one of these receivers with nodes that like wrap around the dog's neck. Like there's all kinds of ways that we watch people chase this dragon all the way into what I would almost consider in some realms like abuse, right? Like the amount of stimulation that you're using to control that behavior is so high, you missed training somewhere.
I think they missed teaching. Is what they missed. I think they skipped the teaching portion and went straight to training and expected their dog to just, I told you to do something, I want you to do it.
Yeah.
You didn't teach your dog what you were expecting.
You didn't teach them anything really. You know what I mean?
And so to everyone out there that is considering training a dog, real quick, ask the trainer to explain how they're going to use the e-collar if that is their preferred method.
Dude, you used a word back there that like I saw a baby trainer hit the other day that I was like, I'm here for it. Baby trainers, by the way, are guys that have been doing this like less than 5 years. Like, hear me out. It is what it is. I'm famous for saying that most dog trainers suck for the first 5 to 7 years because you have to put a certain number of dogs and have a level of experience that like really engages
Your
that.
toolbox just needs a build.
Yeah. Do those people also need a great mentor, and do they also need work? Yes, they need work because you need to be able to see the dogs. But I saw this baby trainer the other day go, if your dog trainer can't explain to you why they're doing what they're doing, you need a new dog trainer.
Agreed.
And I think that that's really very real. Right. And I'm like, and I came on that post, I don't usually engage social media, but I came on that post and I said something to the effect of, isn't that most dog trainers that can't explain to you why they're doing what they're doing?
And that to me leads to a bigger problem, right? If I, as a trainer, if you as a trainer cannot explain why you're doing what you're doing, how am I going to explain to you, the owner?
How do I transfer that info?
Right. How do I transfer what I did and what you need to do? If I can't explain what I'm doing,
right, how
in the world am I going to explain what you need to do?
Not only that, but like, if I can't articulate what I'm doing, how do I know that I'm doing it well? Right. Agreed. If I look at you and say, well, I do this because it works.
Well, I know it works. Well, right. Tell me how it works.
Yeah. Tell me why it works. What the psychology is in the dog. Like what are you leveraging? How are you engaging? I was at a seminar, and I won't name any names here, right? Because like this gets embarrassing for people. I was at a seminar in, I want to call it February this year, right? That was a decoy oriented seminar, right? And it was over in the Panhandle of Florida. And like, this is as real as it gets, right? The decoy that they had come out, right? I brought decoys that had way more skill than this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I've got a team of guys around me. Like, I'm very, very proud of what I built. Like, like we've got folks that are doing real work with real world application on a regular basis. These are fantastic individuals, right? I don't take credit for them, but like, I'm very happy to be around them. You know what I mean? I'm happy that I built a community of people that are like engaged in the same idea. Right. So we all go over here. I got like 6 or 7 guys with me. Right. We go over to this decoy seminar, right? The decoy that shows up is half as skilled as my entire team. Right. He goes, well, I do this thing. And I go, okay, well, tell me why you do that. And he goes, because it works. And I go, okay, well, why does it work? And he's like, da. And he's in his mid-20s, and his girl that's with him is like massively defensive and trying to explain it for him. And it's like, wow, you guys need a mentor before you offer a seminar. Like, you think you're badass, but like, you guys need a mentor before you have a seminar, because like, I should easily be able to look at anybody who's facilitating a seminar and say, hey, why did you push? Why did you boost that dog in that moment instead of giving that dog, yes, giving that dog regular stim? Like, why is that? And then you should be able to instantly be able to put that on the quadrants, or look at it and go, oh, I'm classically conditioning. You should be able to articulate that for me at a very professional rate very quickly. Otherwise, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
I agree 100%.
And that's when we look at this. That's when we look at e-collar stuff. I get very passionate about it, because like, most people, because they sell these things openly, right? Most people pop on Amazon, spend $25 on a piece of gear, and don't give an F about their dog. And at the end of the day, whenever they're like, oh, my dog is blah, blah, blah doing something, right? And it's not what I want. And you go, well, what gear are you using? Well, I bought this thing from Amazon for 25 bucks.
I hear it all the time.
Well, how is that relating your information to the dog? What do you mean? Right? I look at them and I go, how can you possibly expect to get the result that you want by just hitting a button whenever it's not what you want?
And you hit on something very, very important.
Yeah.
A couple things actually. But professionally as trainers, we are psychologists, right? I say it almost jokingly sometimes, right? Yeah. Like we're scientists.
Yeah.
I'm not really joking.
I'm not really playing. Yeah.
You have, if in my opinion, if you are doing this job properly, you have to understand the psychology of what that dog is thinking.
And you got to understand the psychology of people with a base level fluency.
You are correct.
Right.
Now, as an owner of a dog, not a dog trainer, but as an owner of a dog, psychology is not a scary word. Psychology is not one of those things that you need to go grab a textbook and like, I got to figure this out.
How we think.
No, just understand your dog.
Yeah.
Listen to your dog.
Figure out what they like.
Figure out what they like.
Yeah.
The love languages that we have. Your dog has a love language too.
Oh, Chapman.
Your dog has a love language.
Let's go, Jerry.
Figure out what they like more than anything else. Yeah. Figure out their needs. Figure out what your dog wants, what they'll work for.
Mm-hmm. A lot of us
that will alleviate a lot of problems.
A lot of us, though, don't understand like the way that their senses inform the world differently than ours. Like that's one of those things that I know because I'm married to a career dog trainer. I didn't have dogs growing up or none of that. Every time we have a conversation about tools that, you know, in some ways I later relate on like customer calls is
customer calls.
Like,
is that what you said? Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't understand.
sorry, customer calls. Is that I didn't I don't understand the difference of the impact on.
There you go.
On the nose being the primary sense versus sight.
Oh, yes. And that I stress that so much.
That's a whole other episode.
Another whole episode.
Our next episode, as a matter of fact, can you write this on, you know, we've got a whiteboard that helps us out.
We need to start making notes of this. I'm going to forget it.
Can you write that up there, like real quick? Heather, thank you so much. Like what we want to talk about next time is we want to talk about the difference between visual primary and olfactory primary.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to explode so much knowledge.
I can't wait.
Oh my goodness.
I want to see you explode. I didn't say that out loud. Anyway, but the point is this, right? Like, sorry guys, but like the point is this, right? Is like dogs are very different than we are, right? And how they encounter things is very different than how we encounter things. The world, and how they encounter pain is also very different than we encounter pain, right? Like, you know, all these things, all the ways that, you know, like in which dogs engage the world, so different from ours. It's really, really difficult for us to really put ourselves in dogs' shoes. And one of the things that we run the risk of.
Go ahead. I want to finish, but I want you to finish, but I got something.
I know. I see you. One of the things that we run the risk of is heavy anthropomorphization, right? Where like we imbue dogs with human characteristic. I was just talking with this about a student earlier. What did you have, dude?
You're correct. It is difficult for us humans to understand this other creature because they experience the world a different way, right? Most humans have a problem communicate with other humans.
Oh, don't even talk.
Much less.
I've been married 20 years.
Much less communicating with another species that views the world in a completely different way.
Good luck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Use it as an excuse to slow down.
Dude, I want to hug you right now, right? Like this is not a joke, right? Like somebody asked me earlier. So like when my dog's out of control, what do I do? And I said, when they go fast, you go slow, right? Like
stop for a minute,
breathe. You need
listen to that dog.
Yeah, you need
stop
to give
trying
them that
to
time.
Force yourself. Stop trying to force what you want and listen to what that dog wants.
100%.
If you can do that consistently, not only looking at you, not only are you going to have a dog that's more well behaved, you're going to have a life better lived. If you can slow down and listen to that dog, then you can slow down and listen to a human.
Let's go. Dude, my whole life has
this
been
is why I train dogs.
No, I know. This my whole life's been telling people this. All right, guys. Hey, listen, real quick. We need to take a quick break. 1, 2, 3, sober. All right, guys, welcome back to Whiskey and Wolves. We're going to do this in the midst of laughter because what is life without joy?
Agreed. We started this podcast talking about how rough of a time we were having, and we're having a fantastic
baller time right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Almost dropped an F-bomb, but I didn't.
Fucking fantastic.
I was trying to be professional, goddammit.
Good luck.
Yes, and I messed it up.
I know. Again,
GD
right?
And an F-bomb.
So, hey, listen, we've been talking about e-collars today, which is a very serious topic, but like as per usual on Whiskey and Wolves, we drink whiskey, right? So every now and then this thing gets a little silly, which I think
I appreciate.
I think that you guys appreciate about us that we're not taking ourselves so seriously, right?
Yeah. If so not, let us know. Like if we're getting sloppy.
No, it's okay if we get sloppy, bump them. But like if you're messed up by your sloppiness, like see another podcast. It's okay. But I think our listeners, by and large, our watchers, by and large, our wolves, should we call them, right?
I like that.
Like I think our wolf pack out there, dude.
Whoa. Okay, that's where you were going?
Yeah.
We have a fucking wolf pack?
We do, dude.
That was one of my heavier eye rolls.
Hell yeah.
I think our wolf pack out there, dude, I think they appreciate this, right?
You know who's number one wolf?
Oh, I don't know, man. I think
you do.
Yeah. Okay. It's you.
No.
Who?
Tony Friday.
Tony Friday is the number one wolf. He's the alpha wolf. Come on,
man. I love you. Can't wait to see you again.
But here's the point, right? Is I think that they appreciate this part where we don't take this so seriously. Would you agree?
I hope so.
I hope so too. Otherwise, we're screwed.
So that's a cool thing that you brought up real quick. Mm-hmm. We're a little bit of whiskey in. Let's go for it. I had an idea of what this could be, right? And as we have done this, we've had 10, 11 episodes now, and we're starting to get a little feedback from clients, like my dog training clients and friends and people I went to high school with and people I was in the military with and everything. And it's so cool for me to hear the feedback and for them to say the things that lead me to believe that this is exactly what I imagined it being. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it is.
Like hearing the feedback.
It's a good feedback loop. Like, hey, we're getting a lot of feedback from our watchers, our listeners.
It's really cool. Yeah. So to anyone that is out there that is listening and watching, really appreciate feedback. Let us know what you want to hear. We've talked about it a lot. We are doing this because we enjoy it. But we also are doing this because we know that we have knowledge that can help you live a better life with your dog.
Yeah. Debunking the bunk, man. And what that really means to me is like, hey, let's clear the clutter a little bit. Like, let's get in here and just remind people like what it is to be in relationship with dogs, right? And how we can communicate with dogs in various avenues, right?
That end up making your life more meaningful.
Take this for what it is. I'm still the guy who's going to look at you on an e-collar episode and say, hey, listen, if you have a dog trainer that looks at you and says, every time your dog does something you don't prefer or you don't like or you think is wrong, smoke them. I'm going to look at you and be like, you need a new dog trainer. You know, I'm not a big guy in talking garbage about dog trainers, but like when you have somebody who is compulsory only, I don't think you're training. I think you're punishing only. Mm-hmm. I'm not a dog punisher. I'm a dog trainer.
And I'm a dog teacher.
Right. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And in that place, right? Like we have this opportunity and availability. Man, I think I got in your feels there a second ago, but like I have this opportunity and availability, right? To look at it and go, man, I don't punish dogs for a living. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's massively rewarding. And so as we wrap up on the e-collar today, and as we continue this conversation a little bit, one of the things that I really want to talk to people about as we have the opportunity and availability is the idea that like, if you are punishment heavy, you're probably missing so much relationship with your dog. Imagine your significant other. Every time you talk to them, every time you touch them is like my way or the highway. There's no compromise. There's no communication. Mm-hmm. It's like, you can do this or else, right? If you're in that relationship, please hit us up in the comments. Like, I got lots of resources from a previous life ago, right? Like, to help you guys get out of abusive relationships, because that's an abusive relationship. I don't want to build abusive relationships with my dogs, right? I want my dogs to understand what I'm looking at, where I'm going, how I'm engaging, right? Like all along the way. And I want to build multiple lanes of communication. And for me, that's what e-collar really is it's building yet an additional lane of communication for my dog, so that like at the end of the day, right, I'm not questioning whether or not my dog really understands what it is that I'm asking them to do,
or whether or not it's humane,
I know it's humane. I know that what I'm doing is in their wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. I've taken the time in 3 T's in teaching, training, and testing to really walk out, hey, I took the time to teach the dog all the things I expect. That's a huge deal. I was on a call with a student earlier today that was like, man, I don't know that I have the patience to teach. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting conversation to have, right? If you don't have the patience to teach, maybe you pay somebody to do it instead. You know what I mean? Or maybe you build the emotional resiliency that you need in order to really have the amount of patience it takes to teach somebody something. Oftentimes people teach people in like a one-touch engagement, right? I'm going to teach you to run a saw. All right. You push the button, you push the wood through, right? That's a one-touch engagement. You know what I mean? But if we want a great skill, a skill that's highly technical, right? You were a JSOC handler. How many times did you run through a shoot house or a kill house, whatever you want to call it, right? Like clearing rooms, doing stuff before they ever stuck you next to operators who did that for a living? More than once, I imagine.
More than I would have liked.
More than you would have liked, because that's not your favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that training, the day that you had to put your boots on the ground and you had to go do the thing,
I was glad I had it.
You're glad you had it. You know what I mean? Same, right? Like, you know, in the Marine Corps, man, like, you know, the more points of training that we had, the more teaching moments that we had, the more training could actually begin, right? Like in the beginning of every class, right? There's like, hey, we're going to teach you how to do this today, right? The first time, I remember this like it was yesterday. I can even like envision it because it was so impactful to me because nobody had ever taken the time to do this, right? We went to the KD range, the known distance range on, you know, freaking MCRD Paris Island, right? And like we get out to the range, and one of the first things the rifle instructors teach us is like, hey, we're going to teach you what sight alignment, sight picture is. We're going to teach you what natural respiratory pause is. We're going to teach you how to shoot, right? And then we're going to expect that next week when you go to the range, you're going to have retained this information and you're going to know how to shoot, right? I want to teach my dog how to shoot before I expect him to know how to shoot. You know what I mean? Like I was an infantry guy, right? Like I hung out in the infantry like most of my career. You know what I mean? Like if that's the case, right? Like I need to know how to do that before I'm expected to do it, right? Whenever I teach e-collar to any dog, the dog knows how to shoot before I expect them to qualify at the range. The dog knows how to do the things that I'm asking them to do. The dog knows how to sit before I put it on e-collar.
And they know their expectations. They know their boundaries. They know the game.
Right. My dog knows how to down before, you know, like lay down, right? Like my dog knows how to down before I put it on e-collar. My dog knows how to come before I put it on e-collar. This is an expansion of skills, not a genesis of skills. And I do. There are only a couple, and take it for what it is. It's the larger franchises that have existed since the 90s and haven't changed their ways, right? That I do look at with like a massive stink eye. And I'm like, when you start a puppy at 3 months old on an e-collar, you are effing this up. Yeah. Right. When you start a dog,
your toolbox of what you have available of teaching is limited.
Right. You don't know what you're doing, which is why you're paying your people 25% on commission, right? And they're barely scraping the bottom of the barrel to make ends meet, you know? Like ethical dog trainers, and I believe this, if you're going to put contractors, and dude, I'm going to talk right to these dog training owners right now. Like if you guys are hearing this, and maybe you do, maybe you don't, but if you're paying your people less than what you could possibly pay them because they're new, you're making your living on their back, and that's messed up, right? Like take it for what it is. You take the time to build a dog trainer. If you're confident in their ability to train, you should pay them a commensurate rate for training, right? Like Off-Leash Canine starts their guys at 25% on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. You know how I know that?
Wow.
Because one of their trainers shared it with me.
Wow.
Right? Like, and the owner lives in Virginia somewhere. You know what I mean? Like these guys aren't local. These guys aren't in your community. They don't care about your community. These are franchises. Off-Leash Canine, Sit Mean Sit Happens. These are massive franchises that have existed for 30, 40 years now, right? Whenever that's the case, they're locked into a system that begins and ends in a place. Be careful with that stuff, you know, because like if you send your dog because they're running a promo, oh my gosh, everybody in America believes they're going to be a millionaire one day. So like we need to save all the money we can, right? If you see a dog trainer that's running a promo for 30% off, that means their system's probably worth less 30%. You know what I mean? I can't remember the last time I ran a promo for money off that wasn't police, military, educators, you know, first responders. Like I can't remember the last time shelter adopters, right? That are giving a dog a home for free. You know what I mean? Like I can't remember the last time I ran a promo outside of these people that have value add back into our community. I'm not asking for business. I'm not, you know, putting my booty on the corner for a little extra dollar. You know what I mean? Like take it for what it is, man. Heather just laughed at me. That's unfortunate, but like, that's real, right? Like whenever I've got to discount my services 30, 40, 50%, and not for gratitude, but to earn business, right? Take a hard look at that, right? Because like typically, if you're looking at an off-leash program that begins and ends on e-collar, if you are with a trainer who will put a dog on e-collar under 6 months old, right? Pay attention to that, because the reality of the situation is they're doing it wrong in the process of professional dog training.
And they may not even understand that they're doing it wrong.
Oftentimes
right?
they don't.
They don't.
And take it for what it is. I don't bag on other dog trainers as a course of action. I bag on other programs that I've seen, because like some of the programs lock good, ethical, well-meaning people into like mechanics that they can't get out of,
and ideals that the owner doesn't really agree with.
Not only does the owner not agree with, but the trainer doesn't agree with. And the dog doesn't really appreciate. But the dog trainer wants to be a dog trainer, and if I end up with sit mean sit, right? Like I've got to work their program. If I've got to work their program and it's antiquated, which as far as I can tell that it is, right? Like off leash canine, antiquated program, right? Like if that's where we are, you know what I mean? Like then I'm going to be pigeonholed into that idea. My clients are going to be pigeonholed into that idea. And just like we talked about last time with like easy walk harnesses, right? Marketing. Marketing works.
Speaking of that, can I just say something real quick about the electronic collars?
Sure.
Not every collar that has nodes. Can you show the nodes again? Not every collar that has nodes is the same kind of collar. So like the Halo collar does a different job than the collar that this one is. While they both
boundary collars,
while boundary collars provide the same stimulation, they provide a different function and they work differently. And even within those two categories, they can individually work differently. So some like these have the TENS stimulation, whereas others have more of a shocking stimulation.
Like more of a sharp stimulation,
Yeah. But so there's these, there's boundary collars, there's pager collars, which are used to train deaf dogs.
Yeah, so we have PG 300s, right, which are made by Educator.
Looks the same.
Yeah, they look the same on the outside, but they won't have the nodes on the inside at all. As a matter of fact, those particular casings that they put on those don't even have a spot for nodes, so you can't add them later, right? And what they have is a variable level of vibration only stimulation. We use that a lot at K-Pro, to your point, right? Yeah. We use that a lot at K-Pro for deaf dog situations, right? We're like, I want recall on a deaf dog. It's not like you can stomp hard enough like Hulk to get their attention across an acre.
Some people can.
No, they can't. Go ahead.
Sorry. In the family, there's a blind dog that knows where he's going.
All the time,
the vibrations,
right? But those are some for another episode, right? Like we are olfactory primary in the canine world.
Yes, but anyway, So there are lots of different collars that can look that way. So coming from somebody who doesn't have a dog training background, just because you see a dog in what looks like an electronic collar, please don't judge them, the owner or the trainer. They could be using anything in any way.
100%.
And
ask questions
and don't use your brain power for judging someone regardless.
True.
Period.
True.
Right.
What's that famous?
I can say that a whole realm of ways, but this is another level of communication.
What's that? What's that? What's that Walt Whitman quote? Ted Lasso made it famous. I'd rather be curious. I'd rather be curious than judgmental.
Yes. Yeah. Be curious. Be curious when it comes.
Be curious, not judgmental. Right. Be curious about your trainers.
Have you read Leaves of Grass?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to talk about that.
Some other time.
Love Walt Whitman.
Yeah. So, some other time. Right.
Yeah.
That's like outside my kids' room over there is Kipling. Right. If you can keep your head about you when all others are losing theirs. Right. Like, oh man, you'll be a man, my son. Yeah. Like whenever you look at those ideas, but guys, let's wrap this up real quick and say this. E-collars are massively controversial, and mostly because a lot of people use them, unfortunately, right? They use them as a shock collar, right? I want to punish the dog for behavior I didn't like, right? In good and ethical professional training today, I think it's really very fair to say, and I think Chris would agree with me, that like if we're using an e-collar in that fashion, we're wrong.
Agreed. Yes, I do.
However, if we're using an e-collar as a means of communication, a conditioned means of communication where the dog already understands the thought process within which we're working, if the dog already understands the game, the dynamic that we built, right? And we're using this to help really clarify the chaos in the dog's brain
and reinforce what we're working on. Yep.
I think we're doing it the right way, right? Again, like on an educator collar, right? Like my dog's working level, I just turned it on and it was there. My dog's working level is like a 6, right? He pops off the bite at a 6. He returns the heel at a 6. He heels with me through the city park at a 6. He goes everywhere. He goes to the French Quarter. We're obviously outside New Orleans. Like he goes to the French Quarter in New Orleans with me on a 6, completely off leash. I never have to worry about him straying. I never have to worry about him going anywhere. This is something that like legitimately, right? And I told Chris that I would do this today. And so like, I've got to do it before we go.
Yes. I want to see what a 6 does to you.
Right.
You gotta feel it. Can I shock it? I want it.
You can, right? But like, if like,
and when you're ready,
yeah, just send it whenever you're ready, right? Because like,
so this is again the black
right? But
and
here's,
red.
but here it is. It's on
black.
me, right? It's definitely touching me, right? Black.
Feel
I
it?
don't even feel, right? Go ahead and boost me, bro.
Okay.
Hit me with that boost. I want to know. Oh, there it is. I can feel that, right? And then hit me with that vibration. That's a lot. You know what I mean? If I'm walking through all 3 stages and I'm doing it from a clinical perspective, like, yeah, there's some honesty there that like, you know, hey, listen, at that 16, I want to avoid that a little bit. I want to turn that off. At the 5, I couldn't feel it at all. Mm-hmm. There's some hypothesis in my company because we have like a bunch of trainers that work this all the time in advanced training, right? There's some hypothesis there that what the dog's really responding to is the noise that the electronics makes at 5 because I can't feel
actual
it.
Stimulation.
Right. And then at 16, right? Like from 6 to 16, yeah, I could feel the stim, right? And like, yep, it's there. I can recognize it. I'm not necessarily super comfortable in it, right? It's on my neck. I'm still not freaking out. I'm still not running. I'm like, yep, I felt it. Good to go. Right. And then like that vibration stimulation to me was more stim. It was more punishing. Really? You know what I mean? Like to feel that like almost holistic wraparound of like, you know, it doesn't just vibrate here. It vibrates the whole way around the collar, right? To feel that vibration all the way around was like, yeah, like there's something probably wrong. You know what I mean? And so like in working it that way and in working at that specific kind of tooling of how we use the tool, right? Like I think that we could make a lot of good positive progress with it and not be like just ladling on discomfort on top of dogs.
I also think it's important to understand when to use this tool and when not to, mm-hmm. right? And we've talked about it throughout. We don't need to rehash it.
But we're not going to use it for basic obedience. We're going to teach basic obedience on leash. Right. We're going to teach basic obedience in front of us. I think the main
idea that I would like to get across is if you're going to use an e-collar, great.
Yeah.
But do it the right way.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are going
find a mentor, find a trainer.
Going to use an e-collar, make sure that you're doing it the right way. Don't slap an e-collar on your dog and just start shocking them so that they listen.
Right.
It's not going to work.
To know what the hell that means.
It's not going to work. You're going to build fear. Your dog's going to start running away from you. They're going to stop listening. You're going to build more problems than you're going to find solutions. So if you decide to use this tool, fantastic. Do the research first.
Yeah, find somebody who knows
your
what
dog deserves it.
Don't watch one YouTube video and think you're an expert.
Right.
Watch
2 of them.
20 is what I was going to say. Watch like 20 YouTube videos and then have a distillate of an idea, right? That you're like, okay, I like this over here. I like that over here. I like what's going on over here. I'm going to try this over here, right? Now, if you're an evil person and you're like, actually, I liked all the places where I made my dog hurt, right? Like, all right, this isn't your show. Right. But like, bye. But like, legitimately, right? Like, the reality of the situation is I don't want to make my dog hurt for whatever control I want. I want to be able to communicate with my dog in such a way as that they understand the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? And I want to communicate with my dog in a way that like doesn't lend to a lot of conflict between me and them. And whenever I take any amount of fear, right? And all of us, I think, have a little bit of insecurity in us somewhere that's informed in fear. Because what's your insecurity? Okay, so my insecurity is that somebody might find something out one day that might, you know, make people look at me different, right? Dogs, I think, have a certain amount of insecurity in their lives as well, right? And when we leverage
topic,
when we leverage pain with fear, what do we get? More fear. Right. And so like, I don't want to make more fearful dogs. I want to make more communicative dogs, right? I want to make dogs that understand what I'm looking for and have a response. I don't want to make reactions. Last thoughts, Chris, what do you got today?
Based on what you just said, the greatest thing to fear is fear itself. Why would you want to put fear into your dog, right? Make sure that make sure that they understand what you are asking of them before you start giving them something that might build a little bit of fear. And a little bit of fear is a lot of fear. Enough.
Yeah.
That's enough.
A little bit of fear is what I have from my daddy.
I think the e-collar is a terrific tool if it is used properly, just like all of the tools, even the gentle leader that we hated on.
Oh,
and I do not recommend.
Yep.
But if it's used properly and if it's for the right dog, it's okay. But this, it's an okay tool. It's a good tool if you use it properly. Enjoy your dog is what I will say.
Yeah.
And if an e-collar helps you enjoy your dog and it helps them give a little bit more freedom, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That's my last word.
All right. Last thoughts from Evan today look kind of like this. If you have a dog that, you know, or if you have a dog trainer even that's like inducing you to use a no button, every time that dog does that, push the button, right? Every time the dog sniffs your shoes, say you have a dog that's like chewing shoes, right? Every time the dog, like walks over and sniffs your shoes, your dog trainer's looking at you going, hey, feel free to smoke them, right? Find a new dog trainer immediately. Ask for a refund, take it right back out of their pocket.
Find somebody to have fun with.
Right. Yep. And then go find somebody to have fun with. There are lots of dog trainers out here, man, like Chris, me. I got a team of folks like that are here to have fun with you and your dog as we train, you know, and take it for what it is, guys. Like if you're not having fun, like stop what you're doing. Right.
You say it all the time. Train happy.
Train happy, man. Train happy. Because if you're not training happy, you're training angry. And if you're training angry, chances are your dog's not following. Yeah, your dog's not following you. Dogs, again, and you know, I've said this in a couple episodes. I'll say it again right here at the wrap up of this one, right? Dogs are hardwired to do one of two things, right? They're either hardwired to be a leader or follow a competent leader, right? If you are a competent leader, right? Like your dog's going to follow you 100% of the time.
It's a whole nother episode that we need to be writing these down.
Dude, we're writing them down. It's no big deal.
All right. Oh man. Cheers me.
Cheers, brother.
I love you.
I love you too, dude. Hey, listen, guys, thanks for joining us for Whiskey and Wolves. Join us next time. Man, that whiskey's good. Hey, listen, guys, join us next time. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow down at the bottom of the page and ask us questions, man. Like they hit my inbox, dude. Like I come right up on them on my phone. Like I get a message every time we get a comment, right? So feel free to hit us in the comments.
Day.
Make my day, dude. Like make that dingy, dingy, ding happen all day long. And then like next time here on Whiskey and Wolves, hey, don't make fun of me over there, Heather, saying dingy, dingy, ding. A
whole bunch of messages that just say dingy, dingy, ding.
Dude, if I get a whole bunch of messages that say dingy, dingy, ding,
please,
and please, gentlemen, please don't send me any dingy, ding photos.
You ever heard the ding-a-ling song?
Yeah, I don't need the ding-a-ling photos, right? Like if you guys hit me up. Anyway, we're going to respond to that
drinking
here.
So much whiskey. I love you guys.
It's a lot of whiskey.
All right.
Hey guys, listen, join us next time for Whiskey and Wolves as we continue to debunk the bunk in dog training. And do please like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.